big, like a star. I'm supposed to get it, already got it, and there ain't nothing no one can do about it, cause we living that best life. Hey everybody, it's me, Queenie. Welcome to day 2 of the Queen Boss Confidence Challenge, or as I say, immersion. We're gonna get started. Let me go ahead and share this out to a couple of pages and make sure that we give folks a chance to join us. I am super excited. Oh boy, yesterday was amazing. I had a great time. I've had some great feedback. I'm just excited. We're gonna get started in just a minute. All right, just a minute. Gotta share it out. So when you jump on, say hey. Let me know that you're there. Come on. Don't you love it when your computer wants to cooperate? Here we go. All right, so we're sharing. You on a mission, I can understand. All right. About to get started just in a minute. Let me just share this out to a few of my groups so we can make sure that everybody knows we are live and ready to go. I see somebody's joining us. Welcome. We're about to get started in just a minute. Just a minute. Let's see. Okay, we are on day 2 of our Queen Boss Confidence Immersion. I'm your host, Queenie Brown, and we are about to have some fun, folks. Let's see. Okay. All right. Living way up. Okay, got it done. All right. All day, every day, all night. All right, so welcome to day 2 of the Queen Boss Confidence Immersion. And it's all about activating your power, turning it on, turning it up, and walking in and manifesting all day, every day like you know you are supposed to, because it's who we are, right? Okay, let me get started. I'm Queenie Brown. I am an author, a healer, a transformational coach, and a business strategist as well. And I stand for the healing, transformation, and the full-bodied empowerment of women worldwide. So why am I doing this? I have been through a lot in my life. I've been through an almost 15-year illness that was completely debilitating, and I was in excruciating pain for almost 15 years. 24/7, almost 15 years. I was told I'd never have babies, and I was able to be healed in my body. I was able to deliver my first baby as I was turning 43, my second as I was turning 46. I was able to document my journey, and through it all, I received a lot of very potent, very powerful spiritual experiences that shifted my life and changed the way that I see things completely. It's been a very intimate experience, and I wanted to share that with you, not because I really wanted to share it with you, not that I don't want to, but I felt led to. In the very beginning, I shared the details of my story yesterday in my silent weekend, but in the very beginning, God arrested me in a moment of incredible pain, and he shared with me that I would walk through it and that I would be healed on the other side, and that my story would impact the lives of women worldwide. So I'm excited that I'm on the other side of it. Thank you, God. And I'm really excited to be able to share more of my story with you, but also share how you can tap into your own power and how you can stand boldly in who you really are. And so yesterday we started talking about self-image. We started talking about how we see ourselves and how that impacts how we live and how we show up in life, and whether we're able to manifest. And we also talked about the fact that abundance is our birthright. We were created in abundance. We were created by an abundant God, and we were designed to live in abundance. But because of the way we see ourselves and some of the way that we've been programmed through life, it's prevented us from being able to tap into that power. So this whole week, we're talking about different ways to tap back in, to really unlock that abundance that is in us. It's already a part of who we are, but we've just been kind of locked out of it. And then once we unlock it, we've got to get rid of all the blocks that are in the way as well. So it's a journey. It's not something that any of us will ever arrive to. I will not say that I have figured it all out. I'm on the journey with you. I just have had some pretty powerful experiences and some pretty amazing testimonies to share to kind of give us all a little bit of inspiration and a little bit of faith and a little bit of courage to push a little bit more into that power. Okay, so be sure to say hey when you jump on. I don't want to just talk at you. I want this to be a conversation. If anything comes up for you, I want you to type it into the comments, because I noticed that, well, first of all, I'm probably going to trigger you. That's part of what I'm here to do. And I have to get comfortable with that too. But I'm probably going to trigger you and because I'm going to push up against some of the beliefs that you've held, some of the mindsets that you've held that have allowed you to stay locked out because of a lot of, well, we'll go into that probably tomorrow. But anyway. So today I want to just recap. What did I do with that picture? I didn't reprint it, y'all. I apologize, but I'll print it again tomorrow. But hey, Crystal, thanks for joining us, darling. It's good to see you. So I want you to close your eyes. We did this yesterday, but I want you to just, for those of you who didn't join us, I don't want you to miss out on this opportunity to really get a picture of who you are. I want you to close your eyes and think about how you see yourself. How do you see yourself? And then take a deep breath in, let that breath out, and then open your eyes. Oops, here we go. Okay, what do you see in that picture? What's the first thing that comes to mind? Go ahead and enter it in the comments. What do you see in that picture? Okay, the reason why I'm sharing this with you is because the way we see ourselves goes a long way in showing us how we can live our lives. This lion, he sees himself as a little kitty cat, and his inability to see himself clearly prevents him from operating in the power that a lion has. It's going to impact the food that he can eat because he's not going to kill ferociously like he would if he really believed he were a lion. It's going to impact the place that he lives. It's going to impact the pride that he rolls with, because he's not going to feel confident to ride with other lions if he sees himself as a kitty cat. Do you see what I'm saying? We really have to get clear on how we're seeing ourselves, because it's impacting everything in our lives. And so today we're going to talk about that external self-image that we all hold, that it's not who we are. But I want to just share a little bit about my story so that you can kind of get an idea of how that external self-image gets built and how we start leaning on it and trusting in it, and it has the capacity to be destroyed. And so I remember back when I was I was 11 years old, Mom and I were going to the grocery store. Yes, Crystal, the lion sees a cat. That's right. That's right. So Mom and I had gone to the grocery store. I was 11 years old, and we were just walking up and down the halls and of the aisles, and this gentleman walked up to my mother, and he stopped us and said, "Excuse me, ma'am, I want to put your daughter on the runway." His name was Fabian, and he had a modeling agency out of LA. I'm from Los Angeles. And he said, "I want to train her. I want to give her the skills. I want to put her on the runway, and I want to teach her how to master it." And Mom and I looked at each other. We were like, okay. So that was it. We got going. That was the beginning. And I started modeling at the age of 11. That was when I wore my first set of high heels, and boy, did I rock them. I modeled all over LA, all over Hollywood. I've done all kinds of pageants and contests and shows. And I not only excelled to the top of my game back then, I started to train models and coordinate models and put on shows and source designers and I did all of it. And of course, my self-image became, I am a model and I'm boss, and I'm doing all this stuff. And then I had the good fortune of being chosen as one of Nordstrom's first Black models. And I modeled for them for a year, and it was phenomenal. I love that. But of course, all of that helped me to build confidence in myself. When I walked in the room, I knew that I had arrived. I started giving my autograph at the age of 14. So it was very, my identity it was very much locked into the idea that I was a model, and I operated from that, and I expected certain things out of life because of that. And when I did things, I expected them to happen and manifest, and they did. I was able to create some amazing things very, very early in life, and it was all because my image of myself was, I can do this. I'm a powerhouse. And when I walk in a room, people respond. I can get things done. I can make things happen. But then when I turned 18, I was in college and I was in my first semester, and I was in the shower and I was giving myself a breast exam, and I found a lump in my breast at the age of 18. And I was shattered. Now you think about it. Here I am, this person who has all of their value and power wrapped inside of how I look. And now I have a problem with one of my breasts. And then, ironically, I had an aunt who had to have a breast removed because of it as well. And so I went through the testing, and at that time they didn't do biopsies like they do now. I had to have surgery. I had to go under the knife, and the night before, I remember sitting in a room by myself, and the lady who took my blood and did all the pre-work, she handed me a paper and said that I had to sign. And basically what I was signing was, if they went inside my body, the next day they found it to be malignant, that they were going to remove my breast, and that I could wake up the next day or after the surgery without a breast. And so, as you can imagine, I was devastated, and I was scared, and I was alone. And all I could think about was, I don't want to lose the girls. I don't want to lose my life. But it wasn't even a thought about my life, because I was 18. I wasn't even thinking about that. I was more concerned about how I was going to look afterwards. So fortunately for me, it was benign. It wasn't cancerous. But then the next year, I found another one in my other breast. And I had to go through the same thing all over again, another surgery. So that kind of took the wind out of my sails as a model, because, now I don't have these perfect, beautiful breasts anymore. At least in my mind, I didn't. But then that is a real clear picture of how your self-image can be shattered because you have it in the wrong place. And then, of course, because I had taken a complete dive in my self-esteem, my worthiness, everything just was broken down. And then I started to make really poor decisions, and I found myself making really, really bad choices that really impacted me in a whole lot of ways. And I'll talk about that in another time. That deserves its own conversation. But because of that, because my self-image was wrapped in how I looked, it could be shaken. It could be broken. And then, of course, years passed, and then I got really sick with fibromyalgia, and then I started to see myself as wounded. I started to see myself as broken. And then they told me I'd never have babies. And so I started to see myself as barren. I put all these labels on myself, and my identity completely shifted, and so did my ability to manifest. I was no longer able to walk into a room and command and make things happen. I was no longer able to really even believe in myself to be able to make the stuff happen that I knew that I could have done back in the day. Why am I sharing all this with you? I'm sharing this because our self-image has absolutely nothing to do with who we are on the outside. It has nothing to do with who we are on the outside. It's more, who we are is so much bigger than what's external. And so we identify with our external identity, but our true identity is the ultimate self-image. And that's what I wanted to talk to you about, because that's where our power lies. That's how we tap into the real good for our lives. So you are not a mere mortal. You are not an average Joe. You are not an ordinary person, and you are not only human. Those are some things that we have said over, we've heard people say that I'm only human, or those are excuses to justify why we are not manifesting what we believe we are supposed to be manifesting. But that is not at all who you are. You are spiritual energy created in the image of God, who is the ultimate spiritual energy. And we just happen to be living inside of a body. And I call our bodies a biochemical electromagnetic engineering masterpiece. And I say that because the spirit that lives within us uses his body to manifest and to manipulate things on in this physical plane in the earth. But we have far more capacity than we realize. And so when we talk about the fact that we are spirits and we have the ability to impact the world, we have to recognize that we exist beyond this physical body. We exist beyond this physical body. And let me give you an example. Do y'all remember, and I'm going to date myself, but y'all remember back in the day when television sets used to have the rabbit ears on top? You remember? And I remember when my daddy would tell us, go over there and move the antenna, move the rabbit ear. And so as soon as you got close to it, the foggy or snowy screen would get clearer as soon as you got close. But right before you touched it, it started to get clear. Then when you touched it, it got even more clear. And then if you start to move it around, it would get crystal clear. But do you know why you could get close to it? And hey, Olivia, how you doing, darling? Why you could get close to that rabbit ear antenna and the picture would automatically change? It's because we don't end at our skin. We exist beyond our skin. We reach far and wide beyond our skin because we are not our bodies. We are energy. So I want you to imagine a rose in your hand. I don't know if I can do this example here. Imagine a rose out in front of you. Hold the rose out in front of you. Imagine it's in your fingers, okay? Look at the distance between you and the rose, okay? Think about how far that is. Now raise your hand up into the sky and look at how far that is. See how far that rose is. And then raise your hand out to the side and think about how far that is. And then take your hand towards the back and look at how far back that is. And then imagine your hand cut off at the arm on the bottom of your feet, piercing down into the ground that distance. That is the beginning of understanding of how much our aura, our energetic body extends beyond our skin. Okay, we are so much more powerful than we realize, and we've been limited because we don't understand it. All right, so we're going to talk about all that a whole lot more. So let's see. You are spiritual energy, and you are interacting with the atmosphere completely and eternally, forever. You have you can't even control it. And let me give you an example. So, how many times have you ever walked into a room and you could feel that somebody just got cussed out? Have you ever walked into a room and felt that? Or you can feel that somebody just had sex in here. Or you could feel that somebody is depressed. Somebody is really heavy and down. Or you can feel that somebody in here is angry. You feel the energy shift because it's a part of who you are. It's interacting with you even though you don't realize it. And especially, how about being in a room or around someone with a funky attitude? Hey, Savvy, how you doing, girl? With a really bad attitude. As soon as they walk in the room, you find yourself having a bad attitude too, That's because energetically we are interacting with everything and everyone around us. And it's why when you're around people that are angry or that have a bad attitude, they're almost repellents. You're like, I can't even be around it. I need to separate because it's interacting with me, right? We don't even realize that that's possible. Thanks for the love, y'all. We don't realize that that's possible and that it's happening, but it is. And so until we start to identify and understand the way that we operate and really who and what we really are, we can't tap into the power because our power is connected to all of that, right? So anyway, I just wanted to touch on that today to give you a little bit of insight and to not go too deep because there's so much there, so much meat on that bone. But what we're going to be doing in the next couple of weeks, I'm going to be opening a Rise retreat, and we're going to go deeper into understanding all of these little pieces of you, helping you to understand the power that you have and why you have it, how you have it, and how to manipulate it, how to understand your body energetically, how to understand how to use your mind, how your subconscious mind is holding on to patterns and beliefs that are keeping you stuck in powerlessness. And so we're going to go a whole lot deeper, and I'm so glad you're here on the journey with me. And we're going to continue tomorrow on day 3 of the Queen Boss Confidence Challenge. But I just want you to take a minute and start thinking about how you see yourself, your external self-image. How have you been seeing yourself up to now? And how has the conversation up to now? Thank darling. Thank you, Savvy. How has the conversation up to now opened your mind and opened your awareness to a different image of yourself, an internal image that's completely different than what you thought before? So think about that. Enter in the comments if you like. I'd love to hear your feedback. And we're going to go a little bit deeper tomorrow. Thank you again for joining me on day 2 of the Queen Boss Confidence Immersion. And we're going to get it again in the morning. Talk to y'all soon. Bye.